The Retirement Funds Institute of Namibia is a retirement fund sector umbrella body which seeks to represent, promote and advance the interests of the industry. Now, the institute will be hosting its 13th annual conference on the 25th to the 26th of September 2019 in Windhoek. And now joining us to discuss the Institute and the conference is Noti Matthias, the Operations Manager of the Retirement Funds Institute of Namibia. Also joining her is Gerson Veundja Kamatuka, the Vice Chairperson. Good evening and thank you very much for joining us on Business Today. Now, Mr. Kamatuka, we understand that this is the 13th annual conference that will be taking place. Looking at the 12 that have happened before, what were some of the takeaways from those, and what necessitated the 13th one?
Yeah, so the takeaways that we had, really, it was a platform where industry participants would gather and share ideas and discuss matters of common interest to the industry. Right. And it was really, we really had great conferences so far. The last two conferences were held in Swakopmund, but this year we're coming back to Windhoek, and we expect a higher turnout since it will be in Windhoek. Yeah.
Now, just also sticking to that, what is the intended purpose for the 13th annual conference? What are you trying to really achieve with this one?
Yeah, so we just want to bring everyone in the room, in one room, everyone who deals with pension funds, whether it's trustees or principal officers, or the service providers to pension funds, and also the policy makers, the regulators, also to be in one room to discuss issues that affect the industry at the moment. Right. Yeah, so we have a lineup of great topics that we're going to discuss this year. Right. So one of the topics that I feel will also be discussed is responsible investments. Right. So that's something that really we see it from different angles, from the service provider side, from the trustee side. So we're going to share our ideas and see how we can work together on encouraging funds to invest in responsible investment vehicles. Right. Yeah.
I just wanted to park that vehicle here quickly. If I'm sitting in Korigas or in Okwakweo and I'm watching Business Today right now and I'm listening to what is being spoken about and I'm scratching my head, what exactly does this mean to me?
We have been experiencing regulatory reforms in the pension funds industry or the non-bank financial sector. And we have now the repatriation of funds that we have a certain percentage which has been increased to invest in Namibia. Yes. So that really affected Namibia as a country and the economy of Namibia. So it's very, it's something that is very key to each Namibian to understand why should pension funds money or life insurance money be repatriated back into Namibia, and if it's repatriated back into Namibia, how does it affect the economy, and how does it affect anyone else around in the country, and how can these monies be used maybe to spearhead economic growth in the country and infrastructure development and so on. Yeah.
How has the non-banking sector responded though to this particular change?
So I think the other thing is now that the money has been repatriated, since we're speaking about that topic, there is a view that there are not enough vehicles for funds to invest this money. So most of the money has been put in cash or in banks, or so and this is not good for the growth of pension funds, because we want to invest in high risk items that really grow the pension funds of people, because that's the reason for a pension fund. But on the other hand, we need the money in the country. We need the money to address the liquidity challenges that we may face as a country. So I personally feel it was a good thing for the government to do that. But I also feel that we need to look at ways on how to encourage companies maybe to be listed and so on, so that we have more companies that are listed, so that these monies can be absorbed in listed instruments and not just lie around in cash.
Yeah. Now, with the representation at the upcoming conference, stakeholders from a government point of view, and also your members and the likes, any notable participant that is worth mentioning, and perhaps just your participants in general. Why is it so important for them to again attend the conference?
So we have invited our Lion Minister, who is the Minister of Finance. Right. So he will do the opening. We also invited the governor of the Commerce region, since we're going to have it in Windhoek, and also the mayor of Windhoek. And apart from that, we're going to have speakers internationally and locally who are experts in this field, in the field of pension funds and investments and so on. So we are looking forward to have these great people in the room. And I was just chatting to her now that really my biggest desire is if we could have lawmakers in the room, because sometimes it's just us speaking to one another and we speak the same language. But we come out of a conference and there was such great discussions and great points mentioned, and the people outside do not hear this and they do not appreciate our reasoning. So my plea would be really for lawmakers to attend our conference and to get an understanding on how we see things.
Well, we are running out of time, but Mrs. Matthias, before I let the both of you go, one of the topics will include economic climate. Now, off the back of the economic summit that we had about 2 weeks ago, timing is a bit curious there. We are out of time, but Mr. Kamatuka, any last words? And then I give it back to her and then we wrap it up.
Yeah, so we just look forward to a great conference. And I think one of the things that we said we're going to do this year also, we're going to have like a recommendation at the end of the conference, and which we're going to give maybe to government or maybe to the service providers or so, to say this is the recommendation or the resolution that was taken at the conference as a result of the conference, and we want whoever to take it and run with it. And then we can see next year.
Mr. Kamatuka, thank you very much for joining us in business today. I'll make it a point. I actually would love to attend the conference. I'll be sitting in the back there, just waving there. But thank you very much for joining us on business today.
You're welcome to join us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was Nati Matthias, the operations manager of the Retirement Fund Institute of Namibia, and Mr. Gerson Veundja Kamatuka, the vice chairperson, talking to us about the Retirement Funds Institute of Namibia, as well as the upcoming 13th conference. Business Today returns in a moment. Stay with us.